The next day, Betty sat under her favorite tree at school, looking much happier than usual. The bright smile on her face was hard to miss. Christopher noticed her from a distance and walked over, curious about what had changed. "Betty, you're glowing today," he teased as he sat beside her. "What's going on?" Betty smiled. "Christopher, something amazing happened yesterday." He leaned closer, intrigued. "Tell me already." She shared the story of her father meeting the mysterious stranger who gave him a huge sum of money to rebuild the garage. "Can you imagine? A total stranger just showed up and helped us. It's unbelievable." Christopher's eyes widened with excitement. "That's incredible, Betty. Wow, whoever that person is, they're amazing." Betty nodded. "Yes, I just can't stop thinking about how kind they were. I pray God blesses them for helping us." Christopher leaned back and smirked. You know what I think." "What?" Betty asked, raising an eyebrow. "Maybe the stranger is actually your secret admirer," Christopher teased, giving her a playful nudge. Betty burst into laughter. "Oh, come on, Christopher, a secret admirer for me? That's ridiculous." Christopher laughed too, but kept up the teasing. "Hey, you never know. Maybe someone out there admires you more than you realized." Betty rolled her eyes, though she couldn't help smiling. "You're impossible. Let's just be thankful for the good deed and stop creating wild theories." Christopher nodded, his expression turning serious. "You're right. Whoever they are, they have done something truly kind. I'm happy for you and your dad." Betty smiled warmly. "Thank you, Christopher. Honestly, I don't know what I'd do without people like you in my life. You are such a good friend." For a moment, they both sat quietly, enjoying the peace of the moment. Then Betty looked at Christopher. "You know, you have always been so nice to me, but there's one thing I have noticed." Christopher raised an eyebrow. "What's that?" "You never talk about your family," Betty said softly. "Why is that?" Christopher's smile faded a little, and he looked down at the ground. "It's complicated, Betty." Betty frowned. "Complicated how?" "You don't trust me." "It's not about trust," Christopher replied, his voice calm. "There are just some things I'm not ready to talk about yet. But don't worry, you will know them soon." Betty studied his face, sensing there was more to his story than he was letting on. "Are you sure? You know you can talk to me about anything, right?" Christopher smiled faintly and nodded. "I know, Betty, and I promise, when the time is right, I will tell you everything." Betty smiled back, though her curiosity wasn't satisfied. She decided not to push him further. "Okay, I will hold you to that promise." Christopher chuckled. "Fair enough. Now enough about me. How about we celebrate your good news instead?" Betty laughed and nodded. "All right, let's do that. It's nice to finally have something to smile about." Meanwhile, Robinson's mother decided to secretly approach Betty's father. She had carried a deep love for him all these years, even after marrying someone else. She knew her actions were wrong, but her feelings refused to go away. She found him standing near the remains of his burnt garage, looking lost in thought. Clearing her throat, she stepped closer. "Hello, John," she said softly. Betty's father turned abruptly, his face hardening the moment he saw her. "What are you doing here? How did you find me?" he asked sharply. I came to talk to you," she stammered. "I have been thinking about you, John. After all these years, my feelings haven't changed. I still love you." His jaw dropped in disbelief, and then he burst out laughing, a bitter, mocking laugh. "Are you out of your mind, Benita? You're a married woman. You have a husband, for crying out loud, and you think you can come here and say something so foolish?" She stepped closer, trying to reach for his arm. "John, I never stopped loving you. I married my husband because I had no choice, but my heart has always been yours." "Stop it right there," he barked, stepping back. "Are you hearing yourself? Do you know how shameless you sound right now? You are a married woman, Benita. Go back to your husband and stop this nonsense." Her expression changed from pleading to anger. "Why are you acting like this, John? You think I don't know you still feel something for me?" John shook his head in disgust. "Feel something for you? You're insane. I don't feel anything but pity for you. You must be really desperate to think I'd stoop so low as to entertain this madness. You disgust me." Her face twisted in anger. "This is why you're poor and will always be poor. You don't know how to accept help when it's offered. I came here to make your life better, and this is how you repay me." John laughed bitterly again. "Help me? What help could you possibly offer me? The only thing you've brought into my life is trouble. You're nothing but a selfish, foolish woman. You can't stand the fact that I moved on and built a life with someone else. That's your real problem, isn't it?" Her voice shook with rage. "You think you're so much better than me, don't you? Well, let me remind you of something. Your precious garage is gone. You've lost everything. And you know what? You haven't seen the last of me. I'll make sure you regret rejecting me." John's eyes narrowed. "What are you trying to say, Benita? Are you the one who had my garage burnt down?" She didn't answer. Instead, she turned and began to walk away. "Answer me," John shouted after her. "Did you do it? Are you the one responsible for ruining my life?" Benita didn't look back. She simply kept walking, her shoulders stiff with tension. As she disappeared down the road, John stood there, his fists clenched and his mind racing. If Benita had been behind the fire, he would make sure she paid for it. One way or another, she wouldn't get away with this. Betty came home that evening and walked into the house, her steps slow but steady. Her father was sitting in the living room, looking at her with a serious expression. "Betty," he called gently, "Robinson's mother came to see me today." Betty paused for a moment, then set her bag down. What did she want? Her father took a deep breath. "She said she still loves me, that she never stopped loving me, and that she wants to be with me." Betty's eyes widened in disbelief. She really came here to say that? Her father nodded. "Yes, and she tried to convince me that we should be together. But I turned her down. She's foolish to think I would even consider it." Betty shook her head, feeling a mix of confusion and anger. What does she think she's doing, coming here like that? She's married. Does she think we don't know her games? Her father sighed, his tone firm. "Don't let it bother you, Betty. She's just talking. She's foolish, and she won't do anything. You have to stay focused. This isn't about her." Betty was quiet for a moment, still upset. But then she nodded slowly. "I will try, Dad. I can't stand how they keep trying to mess with us." Her father smiled gently. "We will be fine, Betty. We'll handle this, just like we've handled everything else. Together." Betty smiled back, feeling a little better. The next day, Betty arrived at school, her face tense and her steps hurried. She went straight to her favorite spot under the tree, her mind racing. Christopher noticed her from across the field and walked over to her, his usual calm demeanor replaced with concern. "Betty, you look upset. What's wrong?" he asked, sitting beside her. Betty sighed heavily. "It's Robinson's mother. She came to our house yesterday and threatened my father. She said what happened to his garage was just the beginning. She's trying to scare us, and it's working. My dad is worried, and so am I." Christopher's face darkened. "She threatened your father? That's crossing the line. Don't worry, Betty. My boys will put an eye on her." Betty froze and turned to him, confused. "Your boys? Christopher, what do you mean by that? What are you talking about?" Realizing his slip, Christopher quickly tried to cover it up. No, I didn't mean it like that. I just meant I know some people who can keep an eye on things for us. You know, someone who can watch over your father and make sure nothing bad happens again." Betty narrowed her eyes, still not convinced. "Christopher, I hope you're not hiding anything from me. I don't want any trouble, and I definitely don't want to make things worse." Christopher shook his head firmly. "I'm not hiding anything, Betty. I just want to help. You don't have to go through this alone. I hate seeing you like this, and I'll do whatever it takes to protect you and your dad." Betty hesitated, her mind swirling with thoughts. She wanted to trust Christopher, but his words left her with more questions than answers. Still, his concern felt genuine, and she decided to let it go for now. "Okay," she said softly. "But please, Christopher, don't do anything reckless. Robinson's family has too much power, and I don't want you to get hurt because of us." Christopher nodded. "I promise I will be careful. I just want you to feel safe." The bell rang, interrupting their conversation. Betty stood up reluctantly, still feeling uneasy about everything. As they walked to class together, she silently prayed that Christopher's intentions were as pure as he claimed, and that her father would stay safe. Betty sat in the library, flipping through the pages of a textbook, trying to focus on her studies. The peace in the room was shattered when Robinson stormed in, his loud voice drawing everyone's attention. "There you are, you daughter of a poor mechanic," he sneered, standing in front of her. "Do you even belong in this school? Or did you sneak in just to sit under the fan because you can't afford it at home?" Betty calmly looked up from her book, her gaze sharp. She wasn't going to let him walk all over her again. "Oh, look who's talking," she said, "the son of a foolish, spoilt mother who can't get over my father. Your mother came to my house to beg my father to be with her. How pathetic can you people get?" The room went silent, and Robinson's face turned red with embarrassment. Betty wasn't done yet. "You think money makes you better than me? At least my father has dignity, unlike your loose mother who can't keep her legs closed. Go home and ask her who your real father is, because I'm sure even your rich father doubts you're his." Laughter erupted from the students in the library. Robinson clenched his fists, his pride shattered. Humiliated and furious, he stormed out of the library without another word. As Robinson stood outside, pacing angrily, Christopher spotted him. Without hesitation, he walked straight to him. "You," Christopher said, pointing a finger at Robinson, "stay away from Betty and her father. I'm warning you for the last time. If you or your mother tries anything funny again, you'll regret it." Robinson turned to him. "Who do you think you are, you son of a nobody? Do you know who my father is? He's the personal assistant to a billionaire CEO. My family earns more in a week than your entire life is worth." Christopher smiled, stepping closer until they were eye to eye. "You think your father's job makes you untouchable? Let me tell you something, Robinson. You don't want to know who I am or what I'm capable of. Your family may have money, but they have no peace. Your mother can't stop chasing a man who doesn't want her. How embarrassing for you." Robinson scoffed, trying to maintain his composure, but Christopher's words were hitting too close to home. "Here's my final warning," Christopher continued, his voice low and threatening. "Tell your loose mother to stay away from Betty's family. And you? Don't let me catch you near Betty again, or I will make you regret it." Robinson laughed nervously, but there was fear in his eyes. "You think you're so tough, don't you? You are nothing but talk." Christopher leaned in closer, his eyes cold. "Try me." Without another word, Christopher walked away, leaving Robinson standing there, visibly shaken. The tables were turning, and for the first time, Robinson realized he might have underestimated Betty and her mysterious friend Christopher. Robinson stormed into the house, slamming the door behind him. His mother, who was sitting in the living room, looked up in surprise. "What's wrong this time?" she asked. Robinson threw his bag onto the couch and sank into a chair. "It's that stupid Betty again. She insulted me in front of everyone. She called me the son of a foolish, loose mother. She even said you came begging her father to be with you. Can you imagine that?" Robinson's mother froze, her face darkening with rage. "What? That little nobody dared to say that about me?" "Yes, she did," Robinson continued, his voice shaking with anger. "And that's not all. There's this boy in school, Christopher. He keeps getting in my way. He's always defending Betty and acting like he's better than me. I can't stand him. I don't like him. He's stepping on my nerves." His mother sat up straighter. "Christopher, who is he? What does he have to do with this?" "He's her friend or something," Robinson spat. "He thinks he's tough. Today he threatened me, saying I should stay away from Betty and her father. Can you imagine the audacity? He said I don't want to know who he is, like he's some big deal. I don't like him." Robinson's mother leaned back. "Don't worry, my dear son," she said slowly. "I'll handle this. If Christopher thinks he can challenge my family, he has no idea who he's dealing with." Robinson looked at her, his frustration easing slightly. "What are you going to do, Mum?" She smiled coldly. "First, I will find out who this Christopher really is. I have my boys for that. They will check up on him, dig into his life, and find out everything about him. Once we know his weaknesses, we will deal with him." Robinson's eyes lit up. "That's exactly what I want, Mum. He thinks he's so smart, but I will show him who's boss." "Leave it to me," his mother said, her voice firm. "And as for that Betty and her father, they haven't seen the last of me. They will regret ever crossing paths with us." Robinson's father was seated in his spacious office, reviewing some documents when his phone rang. The number on the screen was unfamiliar, but curiosity got the better of him, and he answered. "Hello, who's this?" he asked sharply. The voice on the other end was calm but carried a mocking undertone. "You don't need to know who I am. Just listen carefully. Your wife has been causing trouble with a poor mechanic. She's threatening him because he refused to sleep with her." Robinson's father sat up straight, his grip tightening on the phone. "What nonsense are you talking about? Who are you?" The caller chuckled. "Oh, I'm just someone who thought you deserved to know the truth. She even burned down the man's garage. And here's a piece of advice. Ask your wife who the real father of your son is." "What?" Robinson's father's voice rose in shock and anger. "What are you saying? Who are you?" But the line went dead. He sat frozen, staring at the phone. The words rang in his head, making him feel like the ground beneath him had shifted. His wife's loyalty had always been something he trusted, but now doubt crept in. Could this stranger be telling the truth? Unable to focus, he abandoned his work, grabbed his car keys, and left the office in a rush. He needed answers, and he was determined to get them today. When Robinson's father arrived home, his mind was filled with anger and confusion. The voice of the mysterious caller echoed in his head, and he couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. He stormed into the living room, where his wife was sitting, looking calm as if nothing had happened. "Where's Robinson?" he asked sharply, his voice full of authority. "He's out, but what's wrong? You look upset." His wife looked at him with a feigned concern, but it didn't fool him. "I just got a call," he said, pacing back and forth. "Someone told me everything. About you, about the mechanic, and the way you've been threatening him." He turned to her, his eyes burning with fury. "Why didn't you tell me the truth?" His wife's face went pale for a moment before she composed herself. "What are you talking about? This is ridiculous. Someone's spreading lies about me. I don't know any mechanic, and I've never threatened anyone." She stood up, walking toward him. "You must be confused. I will deal with whoever is trying to ruin my name. You know me." Robinson's father, however, was no longer convinced. He had always trusted his wife, but now doubt clouded his judgment. The call had shaken him to the core, and his mind raced with questions. "I don't trust you anymore. You've been hiding things from me, and now I can't ignore it. I need a DNA test. Now. I need to know if Robinson is really my son. All these years I have ignored the warnings, and now everything's coming to light. I should have listened." His wife's face contorted with rage, but she kept her cool. "What? A DNA test? Are you out of your mind? You don't trust me anymore. After everything we've been through. I can't do this anymore," he shouted. "The lies, the secrets, everything, it's over." His wife remained silent for a moment, her expression darkening. Finally, she crossed her arms and said coldly, "Fine. Get your DNA test, but you will regret it." With that, Robinson's father stormed out of the room, his heart heavy with betrayal. He didn't want to believe what was happening, but he couldn't ignore the signs anymore. He needed answers, and he was determined to get them. One quiet afternoon, Betty's father was sitting outside their small home, lost in thought. The events of the past few weeks had weighed heavily on him, from the mysterious stranger's help to the chaos surrounding Robinson's mother. Just as he was about to head back inside, he noticed a sleek black car pull up in front of his house. His heart skipped a beat as the same stranger from before stepped out, looking as confident and composed as ever. The stranger approached with a calm smile. "Good afternoon, sir," he said politely. Betty's father stood up, looking surprised. "Good afternoon. What brings you here again?" "I came to talk to you about something important," the man replied. "I've thought about it a lot, and I believe your daughter Betty is someone special. I want to marry her." Betty's father's face hardened with shock. "What did you just say?" The stranger smiled gently. "I have a lot of money, sir, more than you can imagine. I can give Betty a life you could never dream of. She will have everything she ever wanted: comfort, luxury, and security." Betty's father narrowed his eyes, taking a cautious step forward. "Wait a minute. How did you even find my house? And more importantly, how do you know my daughter's name? I can't remember ever mentioning it to you." The stranger's confidence didn't waver. "Sir, I told you before, I have resources. My family owns much of this town. I have connections, and when I decided to visit, I made sure to learn everything about the family I admire so much. Your daughter's name is Betty, and I have heard nothing but good things about her." Betty's father's frown deepened. "That's not an answer. You've been prying into our lives. I don't like this at all." "I'm sorry if it seems that way," the stranger said softly. "I only wanted to know more about the amazing girl I want to marry. My intentions are pure, I swear." Betty's father clenched his fists, anger rising. "Listen here, young man. I don't care how much money you have or who your family is. Betty is my only daughter, and I will never sell her off to anyone, no matter how rich or powerful they are." The stranger's smile faltered, but he quickly regained his composure. "Sir, I'm not trying to buy her. I genuinely admire her character, her kindness, and her strength. I believe I can take good care of her." "I have heard enough," Betty's father said, raising his hand to cut him off. "You may have helped me before, and I'm grateful, but that doesn't give you the right to come here and demand to marry my daughter. This isn't about money, and it never will be." The stranger's expression grew more serious. "I'm not trying to force anything, sir, but think about it. I can change your life. You won't have to struggle anymore. Betty wouldn't have to worry about anything. I can make your dreams come true." "I don't care about your money," Betty's father snapped. "I have raised Betty to value hard work and integrity, not shortcuts and wealth that come with strings attached. If you think you can buy us, you're sorely mistaken." The stranger looked at him, disappointment flickering in his eyes. "I mean no disrespect. I only wanted to help. But if that's how you feel, I will respect your decision." Betty's father took a deep breath, calming himself. "I'm sorry, I know you helped me before, and I will find a way to repay every penny. Just give me some time, but my daughter's future isn't something I will gamble with." The stranger nodded slowly, his face unreadable. "Very well, I will leave now, but I hope you reconsider." Without another word, he turned and walked back to his car. As the sleek vehicle disappeared down the road, Betty's father sat back down, his heart heavy. Inside the house, Betty peeked through the window, watching her father. She could see the tension in his face. She stepped out of the house and stood beside him. "Papa, what happened? You look worried." Her father sighed heavily. "Betty, there's something I need to tell you. That man, the one who helped us before, came here today." Betty looked surprised. "He came here? Why question mark? What did he want?" Her father hesitated for a moment, then said, "He said he wants to marry you. He claims he has a lot of money and can take care of you, give you a good life. He even said his family owns most of the town." Betty's eyes widened in disbelief. "What? He said that?" "Yes," her father continued. "He said he admires you and wants to make you his wife, but I refused. I told him that I'm grateful for his help, but I will not sell my daughter to any man because of money." Betty's face turned red with anger. He had the audacity to come here and say that. "Papa, why didn't you call me? I would have given him a piece of my mind. How dare he think he can just buy me like I'm some kind of property?" Her father sighed heavily. "Betty, I didn't want to involve you in this. I thought it was best to handle it myself. I told him to leave and that I would repay every penny he gave us." "You should have called me," Betty shouted, her voice trembling with frustration. "I would have told him off myself. Who does he think he is? Just because he has money doesn't mean he can come here and disrespect our family." Her father looked at her, his face filled with regret. "I know, Betty. I should have called you, but I didn't want to upset you. I thought it would be better if I handled it quietly." Betty folded her arms, pacing back and forth. "This is so insulting. He thinks he can come into our lives and make decisions for us just because he helped us once. He doesn't even know me. Papa, if I see him again, I won't stay silent. He needs to understand that we are not for sale. He can keep his money. We don't want anything from him." Her father sighed, knowing Betty's fiery temper would be hard to control. "All right, Betty, just promise me you'll be careful. Some people with power don't take rejection lightly." A week later, Betty was sitting in her room when her phone buzzed. It was a call from Christopher. She hesitated for a moment before answering, still unsure how she felt about him after everything that had happened. "Hello?" she said cautiously. "Hi, Betty," Christopher's voice came through, sounding cheerful. I was wondering if you'd meet me at a restaurant today. I want to talk to you about something important." Betty raised an eyebrow. "A restaurant? Which one?" "It's called Golden Fork," Christopher replied. Betty's mouth fell open. "Golden Fork? That place is expensive. Christopher, where are you getting the money to pay for a meal there?" Christopher chuckled. "Don't worry about that. Just meet me there. Oh, and check your phone. I sent you something." Confused, Betty checked her messages and saw a bank alert. Christopher had sent her money with a note. "Get yourself something nice to wear. You deserve it." She was taken by surprise but decided to go. After all, she wanted answers, especially after everything that had happened. She used part of the money to buy a modest but elegant dress and made her way to the restaurant. When she arrived, she was shocked to see Christopher already waiting for her. He was dressed in a sharp suit, looking completely different from the Christopher she knew at school. He stood up as she approached, smiling warmly. "Betty, you look beautiful," he said, pulling out a chair for her. Betty sat down, still staring at him in disbelief. "Christopher, what's going on? How are you affording all this? And why did you call me here?" Christopher took a deep breath. "Betty, I've been keeping something from you. I think it's time I tell you the truth." Betty crossed her arms. "I'm listening." "At first, when I met you, I just wanted to be friends," Christopher began, his tone serious. "But as I got to know you, I realized there's something special about you. You are strong, kind, and you care deeply for your family. I fell in love with you, Betty." Betty's eyes widened, but she stayed silent, letting him continue. "There's more," he said. "You know that stranger who helped your father? I was the one who sent him." Betty's jaw dropped. "What? You sent him?" "Yes," Christopher admitted. "I wanted to help your family, but I didn't want you to know it was me. I thought it would be easier that way. But I also didn't know he would go as far as asking for your hand in marriage. I swear, Betty, I didn't tell him to do that." Betty became angry. "So you're saying that man who walked into our lives and caused all this trouble was working for you? Christopher, do you even understand what you've done?" Christopher looked genuinely shocked. "Betty, I didn't know he proposed marriage. That foolish boy went too far. I promise I didn't ask him to do that." Betty leaned forward. "Then explain why he thought it was okay to come to my house and ask my father for my hand in marriage." Christopher quickly pulled out his phone and called the stranger. When the man picked up, Christopher didn't even greet him. "What did you do at Betty's house?" he demanded. The stranger sighed on the other end. "Christopher, I'm sorry. I liked Betty's father the day I met him. He's a good man, humble, kind, and honest. And honestly, who wouldn't want to marry the daughter of a man like that?" Christopher's voice rose. "But that wasn't your job. I asked you to help them, not to meddle in their lives. Do you know the trouble you have caused?" "I'm sorry, Christopher," the stranger said again. "I didn't mean to overstep. And you never told me you liked her." Christopher ended the call abruptly and turned back to Betty, who was still staring at him. "Betty, I swear I had no idea he would do something like that. I'm truly sorry. Please believe me." Betty shook her head, her emotions a mix of anger and confusion. "Christopher, you should have told me the truth from the beginning. You sent someone to help us, without even letting us know it was you." "I know, and I'm sorry," Christopher said sincerely. "I never wanted to upset you. I just wanted to make your life easier because I care about you." Betty stared at him for a long moment. She could see the regret in his eyes, and deep down she believed he was being honest. "I don't know what to say," she finally admitted. Christopher reached across the table, taking her hand gently. "Betty, I messed up, but I want to make things right. I'm asking you to give me a chance, to be your boyfriend. I promise to always be honest with you from now on." Betty hesitated, but something in Christopher's eyes told her he was sincere. After a moment, she nodded slowly. "All right, Christopher, but no more secrets. If you do anything like this again, we're done." Christopher smiled, relief washing over his face. "Thank you, Betty. I promise I won't let you down." Robinson's father had not been able to sleep since the anonymous phone call. The thought of the words, "Ask her who Robinson's real father is," haunted him. Determined to uncover the truth, he secretly went to a private lab to have a DNA test done, using a strand of Robinson's hair and his own. When the results came back, his worst fears were confirmed. Robinson was not his biological son. The betrayal cut deep. The woman he had loved and trusted had lied to him for years, raising another man's child under his roof while pretending everything was fine. That evening, he went home with a heavy heart but a mind made up. His wife, unaware of what he knew, greeted him with her usual fake warmth. "We need to talk," he said sharply, his voice as cold as ice. His wife looked at him, confused by his tone. "What's wrong, honey?" "I got the DNA test results," he said. "Robinson is not my biological son." Robinson's mother was shocked. I can explain." "Explain what?" he asked. "That you have been lying to me for so many years. That you had a child with another man and let me raise him as my own. You disgust me." She fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry. Please, honey, forgive me. I didn't know how to tell you. I made a mistake." "A mistake?" he snapped. "A mistake that lasted this long? You made me the laughingstock of this town. You are sorry because you get caught. I should have listened to my family when they warned me about you, but no, I was blind." He pointed to the door. "Get out. You and that boy. Get out of my house now." Robinson, hearing the commotion, came out of his room. "What's going on?" His father turned to him. "Pack your things. You're not my son. Both of you, leave this house." Robinson was stunned. "What do you mean I'm not your son? What kind of nonsense is this?" "Ask your mother," his father shouted. "She's the one who lied to you and to me. Now get out before I call the police." Robinson looked at his mother, who was sobbing uncontrollably. "What's he talking about?" His mother couldn't answer, and Robinson's anger grew. "You're such a fool," he muttered under his breath. "You've ruined everything." With nowhere to go, Robinson and his mother left the house that night, carrying only a few belongings. They found a small run-down apartment on the outskirts of town, a far cry from the comfortable home they had been forced to leave behind. Life in the new place was unbearable for Robinson. The cramped space, the lack of money, and the constant reminder of his mother's betrayal filled him with bitterness. He hated his new life, and he hated his mother even more for being the cause of it. One evening, during another heated argument, Robinson lost control. "You're nothing but a loose woman who can't keep her legs closed," he shouted at her. "You ruined my life." His mother tried to defend herself, but Robinson wouldn't listen. In a fit of rage, he pulled out a gun he had secretly acquired. "Robinson, no!" his mother screamed, backing away. "I hate you," he yelled, his hands trembling as he pointed the gun at her. "You've destroyed everything. You don't deserve to live." Before she could escape, Robinson pulled the trigger. The sound of the gunshot echoed through the tiny apartment, followed by silence. Neighbors, hearing the commotion, called the police. When the officers arrived, they found Robinson sitting on the floor, the gun still in his hand, staring blankly at his mother's lifeless body. Robinson was arrested and later sentenced to life in prison for the murder of his mother. Behind bars, he had plenty of time to reflect on his actions, but it was too late to undo the damage he had caused. Meanwhile, life moved on for Betty and Christopher. After years of courtship, they finally tied the knot in a beautiful ceremony filled with love and happiness. Christopher, who had grown into a successful businessman, promised Betty a life of joy and honesty, and he kept his word. Betty's father, who had witnessed all the trials his family had gone through, was filled with gratitude and joy. He thanked God for bringing Christopher into their lives, a man who not only loved Betty deeply, but also transformed their family's story for the better. In the end, Betty and Christopher's love story became a tale of hope and redemption, a reminder that even in the midst of chaos, there's always a chance for a fresh start. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.